How much longer is it going to take for people to realize that Nintendo is charging you a premium price for a subpar product, okay? Because what I'm seeing out of the Nintendo Switch 2, and I'm sure people are far more excited about the promise of the console as opposed to what we're dealing with right now. Okay, cool, you have the one launch title and Donkey Kong Bonanza comes out months down the line, but outside of that, man, and I'm sure in the months to come, and especially with, you know, the big gap in the AAA market when it comes to GTA 6 being moved off to next year, there is going to be a lot of expendable income out there. There is going to be a lot of people willing to fork over 60, 70, $80 for new games that are there, and especially for a new console, if they can get their hands on it, which I would imagine probably towards the end of the year it's going to become a lot more easy to get, because yeah, there's really no reason to go out there and buy it right now. And especially when you take a look at the specs that are under the hood right now. Oh, it promises it can do 4K 60. Oh, it could get up to 120 FPS. If you're not worried about resolution, it's like, bro, you might be able to do that, but are we ever going to see a game in its life cycle achieve those metrics? I highly doubt it, but Switch 2's built-in storage can only fit for AAA games, and especially with all of the new physical releases for the Switch 2 just simply being a game key where you're going to have to download some part of the game. I mean, that 256 onboard hard drive, that was laughable in the later stages of the PS3, Xbox 360 era, okay? Because even the PS4 and the Xbox One, yeah, they launched with a 0.5 terabyte hard drive. And we got a brand new console in 2025 that has a 256 gigs. Like, what are we doing? Forcing you to buy memory cards? That's technology that has long since been out of date, but here we are. Nintendo recently started taking pre-orders for the Switch 2. Yeah, and it's been selling gangbusters. I don't think that is surprising to anybody, but I think we're all looking towards the long-term health of this. Some Switch 2 game file sizes are bigger than I expected, closer in size to a Windows PC counterparts than original Switch ports. Interesting. Okay. That makes sense given that Nintendo's upcoming console is powerful enough to run games at 1080p, okay, and beyond at fast frame rates. Yeah, they can run it, but will they? And will be at stable frame rates? Or are we talking about loading screens popping in at 100 FPS? And yet, it'll only be a handful of games to completely fill up your Switch 2's built-in 256 gigabyte storage. Here are some game file sizes. Yes, for the forthcoming Switch 2 ports, Madden 26 will be 62 gigabytes. Oh, but nobody plays Madden. Okay, Split Fiction. All right, yeah, that seems like a game that would be right at home on the Switch 2. 73 gigabytes, which, hey man, on the grand scheme of things, games coming out of big studios, because yeah, EA brought you Split Fiction. That's not that big in the grand scheme of things, but yeah, Cyberpunk 2077, a game that launched, released in 2020, even if you're getting the Ultimate Edition with all the DLC, is still 59 gigabytes, and Yakuza 0 Director's Cut is 53.7 gigabytes. All of those games together clock in at just over 300 gigabytes. Mario Kart World is going to be 23.4 gigabytes, and Donkey Kong Bonanza at just 10 gigabytes. And you're telling me that that's going to be a 4K 60 game? Bro, come on, fucking stop. That's not even big enough for the textures for a 4K game. So yeah, you go ahead and continue to simp hard for Nintendo. And when they eventually do away with physical releases, because this right now, you know, their game key setup is just a stepping stone, you're going to have to rely on one of the weakest, it might just outright be the weakest online infrastructures for any of the major gaming companies that's out there. The eShop needs to get better, much better. 28 game developers from the creator of XCOM to Indie Legends explain what they want from the Nintendo Switch 2. So yeah, outside of just simply playing Nintendo games, which every time we see a console, at least from what I can remember from the Wii U all the way up to today, oh yeah, look at, Nintendo's recaptured the third party games. There's going to be a big push for that. Yeah, they always started out strong on that one, but then when everything's all said and done, the only thing that people play on Nintendo consoles are Nintendo games. So how are you going to change that? The Nintendo Switch 2 has ended up more confusing and expensive than some people may have expected, but the simple promise of the new Nintendo hybrid console has been exciting enough for many folks as they book retirement homes, yes, for their original Switch. $80 games, digital game card restrictions, confounding a new-gen upgrades, the Astro Playroom-style tutorial that you have to pay for. Yeah, $10 for a fucking tutorial. I can barely hear you over the sound of the new Mario Kart, Donkey Kong, mouse controls, and the inevitable endearing 10 years late jank of Nintendo brand Discord. Oh yeah, because apparently people are buying that camera, and I can't wait for people to go, bro, why are we only getting like 12 FPS? It's like, didn't you see the announcement trailer where that thing looked like ass to begin with? But the fact that it's going to perform like a fucking flip book that you got to pay just to access a physical button on your controller. Oh no, you'll get it for free throughout the end of the year, but then eventually you do have to pay for a fucking button on your controller. Continue to simp for Nintendo. They're really putting the games that gamers want to play out. As we learned from more about the Switch 2. More eager to hear how game developers are feeling about it. Okay. Many developers I spoke to, the author of this obviously, agreed that the eShop is kind of outdated, threadbare store that gives hot garbage a bad name. Yes, amazingly is only mild liberties, with the paraphrasing here. New bloodhead Dave Oshry sums it up nicely. Mostly the eShop needs to be better, much better. Her story and Immortality boss Sam Barlow seems to agree. I'd love to see a robust eShop and an ecosystem that supports indie developers with a discoverability and sensible approach to pricing, he says. As a player, Barlow adds, I just want CRT filters for the N64 emulation. I hope Ecuador gets the eShop this time, says Ape Out's Gabe Cazulo, now part of the Baby Steps team. In a group interview, producers Miriam of Studio Heart Machine also said, I want the Nintendo eShop to be better. Director Alex Preston chimed in and said, oh, you don't like hentai on your Switch? Yeah, exactly, with a bad UI that takes 20 minutes to load one PNG. But no, don't worry, that'll be better, okay? We're gonna have better, more comprehensive features for the Switch 2. We're going to take this seriously because we have different programs that are in place, and we have the pop-ups and hearts of the gamers really at the core of everything that we do, because Nintendo hasn't dropped its diversity practices despite Trump's war against DEI. Continue to suck ass for Nintendo, you fucking simps. The concept of diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, DIE, whatever the hell you want to call it, has existed for some time, manifesting in various efforts to ensure equal access to opportunities in different industries. That's just basically been an excuse to go ahead and said white men and need not apply. Attacks on these ideals are also nothing new. However, in recent years, right-wing groups have started to attack DEI specifically. Because it's a racist practice, okay? The re-election of President Trump prompted many companies to abandon their DEI practices, rename, whatever you want to call it, with a list of the most notable examples put together by Forbes. Despite this, Nintendo will not be one of them, with Nintendo of America CEO Doug Bowser saying that diversity has always been and will continue to be part of the company's values. That's why the most successful aspects of Nintendo have been strictly Japanese. Diversity is our greatest strength. I'm sure it is. This comes from the Brazilian news outlet Folha de Sao Paulo, I'd imagine, in an interview spotted by Reset Era user randomly-random67 here. Bowser was asked if Nintendo has made any changes to its practices in response to Trump's pressure. And we always want to attract the best talent we can and retain that talent. Right, as you can see, from one of their banners from their Nintendo of America website, they've got a whole lot of quote-unquote talent on display. What exactly have they worked on at Nintendo that has been so successful? We also believe that it is important for those talents to be diverse from a point of view of their backgrounds, their experiences, and their understanding, because our players are diverse. Right, because it's worked so well in other aspects of your industry, right? Prioritizing all of this shit, hasn't led to the downfall of Ubisoft, people not having a lot of faith in the future of many studios like Rockstar and CD Projekt Red. Sure. So we strive to have a diversity that reflects our players in our organization. When has this ever been a successful business practice? I'm just wondering, is there one singular example of a studio adopting these policies and producing better content than they were making prior to their adoption. I'm just waiting. I just want one example. This is something that has been in place for years before people really started using the acronym DEI, and it will continue to be in place. It's important to us, yeah, because the one black mark against Nintendo for years at this point in time, even though, you know, every once in a while they'll make one stupid decision, but the one consistent lagging factor has been Nintendo of America, and they're the ones championing this. Good on you. True enough, Nintendo of America's career section still has a page on DEI, which has remained unchanged since Trump's re-election. So it seems that the company won't be making changes throughout this administration, since those who capitulated were quite quick to do so. Well, yeah, exactly. And you've seen other industries and other companies succeed ever since they have decided to jettison or at least do a soft reboot in certain aspects. Hell, it even worked for stupid Marvel with their goofy-ass Thunderbolts thing. A lot of people like that, but hey, I like it because, you know, it doesn't take a shit down my throat and it doesn't slap my mother. It's just not woke. It might not be that great, but hey, it doesn't insult me as a fan. It's worked on some fucking slow-brained individuals. It's going to be funny how people are going to go ahead and justify Nintendo of America and by proxy Nintendo as a whole as being a company that it's going to be, oh yeah, gamer first. Oh, they really have their finger on the pulse of what gamers want. Yeah, while still promoting DEI, while still overcharging you for an underperforming system. We're still running on 20-year-old architecture that wasn't fit for purpose back when it was originally released, and that they just try to staple it on and try to make it usable moving forward. This is, I like Nintendo. The Super Nintendo is my favorite console. Nintendo has been responsible for a lot of my favorite gaming memories, but that's been a long time ago at this point in time, and gaming and entertainment is very much a what have you done for me lately type business, and well, I take a look at what Nintendo has done lately, and a lot of it has been wildly disappointing. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.